The alien girl came in my room and said, "I've been matched with you as a roommate." I was halfway through unpacking my last box when the knock came at my dorm room door. It was a soft knock, light, but certain. I opened it expecting maybe another student or someone from admin. Instead, I saw her, tall, slender, with pale blue skin and glowing violet eyes. She stood perfectly still, a small bag over her shoulder and a datapad in her hand. "I am Vehlari of the Serene," she said calmly. "I have been matched with you as a roommate." I blinked, then blinked again. "You're my new roommate." "Yes." There was no emotion in her voice, just certainty. She stepped into the room without waiting for my response and glanced around. This arrangement was made due to dormitory overflow and cultural integration protocol. If this is an error, I suggest contacting housing coordination. No, I stammered, stepping aside. It's just, I wasn't expecting. I didn't know they were mixing human and alien students in dorms. They were not, until this term. She dropped her bag beside the empty bed across from mine and looked directly at me. "Are you uncomfortable with my presence?" "No, not at all. You're the first alien I've ever shared a room with." She tilted her head slightly as if scanning for meaning in my face. Noted. Then she began unpacking in a series of smooth, efficient movements. I watched her for a moment, unsure if I should help or keep unpacking my own things. Her movements were graceful, like she had rehearsed each one. A soft hum came from one of the devices she set on her desk. It pulsed with a faint green light. "What's that?" I asked. "A humidity stabilizer. Serene requires specific atmospheric moisture level during sleep to remain healthy. Would you prefer I deactivate it?" "No, it's fine," I replied. "You're the guest here after all." That word seemed to catch her attention. "Guest." She repeated it slowly. "I am not a guest. We are assigned co-occupants of this space with equal rights." "Right? Sorry. Old habit." She looked around again, then returned to her bag and pulled out what looked like a folded fabric sculpture. She laid it out on her bed, and it shimmered, changing into a quilted cover full of shifting patterns. "You don't have to worry," I said, trying to lighten the mood. "I don't snore or throw parties, and I promise not to touch your stuff. That would be appreciated," she said without smiling. Her face was unreadable. Calm, almost too calm. I decided to keep things simple. "Do you need help settling in?" "No." She paused and added, "But thank you." The way she said it sounded practiced, like she studied the phrase but never used it before. Over the next few days, we shared the same small space. Vehlari woke at sunrise every morning, sitting silently in meditation for an hour. She didn't speak unless spoken to. She didn't complain or criticize. She just existed in the same space with quiet presence. At first, it felt like living with a statue. But then the small things started to change. She began responding to questions with more than a sentence. She asked me once why I put posters on the wall. I told her it made the room feel like mine. She nodded, and the next day she added a small hanging sculpture over her bed, made of shimmering pieces that changed color when you moved. "You have music?" she asked one evening while I studied. "Sure," I said, "want to hear some." She nodded and sat on her bed. I played some soft instrumental. She listened with her eyes closed. "This feels like floating," she said, quietly, like resting inside a dream. "You like it?" I asked. "Yes." "May I have a copy?" "Of course." We started talking more after that, sometimes over meals, sometimes in the quiet just before sleep. She told me about her home world where the oceans never stopped moving, where her people lived in towers built into cliffs. She said they did not speak of feelings directly. It was seen as inefficient. But she was curious about the way humans talked about love, about longing. "Do you feel these things often?" She asked. I shrugged. Sometimes too often. And when you feel them, what do? Depends. Sometimes you tell someone. Sometimes you keep it inside. Sometimes you write bad poetry and regret it later. She gave the slightest twitch at her mouth. I think it was a smile. Weeks passed. She adjusted to the rhythms of our campus. Students stared at her at first, but they got used to it. And I got used to having her there. Coming home meant something. Even when we didn't speak, the silence was companionable. Then one night, I came back late from a group project. She was already in bed, the lights dimmed. As I moved quietly around the room, she spoke from the dark. Do you find my presence agreeable? Yes, I said honestly. You're easy to live with. Better than most humans I've shared space with. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said, I do not fully understand the way humans form bonds, but I find myself aware of you even when you are not here. When I hear your voice, I feel calm. When I imagine you harmed, I feel disruption. I sat down on my bed facing her. That sounds a lot like what we call affection, possibly even love. She turned her face toward me. Would that be acceptable to you? The room felt suddenly full of unspoken meaning. I nodded. Yes, very acceptable. I think I feel the same. She sat up slowly, her eyes shimmering in the low light. Then let us attempt this bond as you understand it, and as I learn it, and I will offer what I can. That was how it started, with honesty, with awkward words and shared silence, with music and meals and the quiet miracle of companionship. She wasn't just my roommate anymore. She was the part of my day that made everything else make sense. The alien girl who had stepped into my room had also stepped into my heart, and I never wanted her to leave.